Hi, I'm Erik Voss, and Avengers Infinity War was the culmination of several threads in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it was pretty impressive to see all these pieces come together in a way that made sense, as long as you don't use the bathroom in the middle and go an hour without seeing Iron Man.
Wow.
But let's break down how Infinity War fixed the overall MCU timeline and what events went down off-screen to set the stage for Thanos' arrival. Like, we've been wondering why only now did Thanos attack, and Infinity War actually justified it in an interesting way. Also, this video is sponsored by Dollar Shave Club. Stick around to the end of the video for details about an exclusive offer that's just for you guys. And customary spoiler warning if you haven't seen Infinity War yet. Okay, first, Infinity War restored the traditional MCU timeline, in which movies generally take place in the year they are released. For example, Infinity War takes place in 2018, Civil War took place in 2016, and the first Avengers took place in 2012. Now, we know this because in Infinity War, Vision and Scarlet Witch mentioned that they had been in hiding for 2 years. That's 2 years since the conflict in Civil War, and then Rhodey repeats this later when they all reunite in Avengers HQ. And when Tony Stark argues with Doctor Strange on the Q ship, he snaps, "Thanos has been inside my head for 6 years since he sent an army to New York and now he's back." That sets the events of Avengers in 2012. Now, the reason some people got confused about all this is Spider-Man Homecoming. That movie's prologue scene took place in the direct aftermath of the Battle of New York in the Avengers in 2012. But then a dumb old title slide said 8 years later, then cutting to Tony dropping off Peter following the Civil War event, which wasn't 8 years later, it was 4 years later. Marvel has now actually clarified that the Homecoming thing was indeed a mistake, so we should ignore it. It didn't happen. 8 years later is like, I don't feel so good. But Infinity War actually rewrites the whole MCU timeline and clarifies a lot of questions we had. Marvel Studios has done an amazing job laying out a specific series of events that set up the rise of Thanos. So what was the Mad Titan doing all this time out there in space? Why didn't he attack before sending Loki to retrieve the Space Stone's Tesseract in Avengers? Or why not attack while the Avengers had their hands tied with Ultron or in their own internal conflict in Civil War? Well, Infinity War, combined with a few of the recent MCU movies, gives us all the evidence to assemble the whole background timeline of this. When Thor travels to Nidavellir to get a new hammer, he runs into Eitri, who reveals that Thanos and his forces had invaded them and forced him to forge a new way to contain all 6 Infinity Stones at once, the Infinity Gauntlet. This was a major turning point in Thanos' mission. For years, he had been searching for the 6 magic bullets, and now with the Gauntlet, he had the gun to fire them. And this game changer was a direct consequence of Odin's departure. The end of Thor: The Dark World revealed that Loki was still alive, posing as Odin. We learned in Thor Ragnarok that Loki had stowed Odin in a retirement home in New York, and Odin ended up wandering to a cliffside in Norway where he died. A few scenes earlier, Thor accused Loki, who was still disguised as Odin at the time, of letting the defenses of the 9 realms, one of which is Nidavellir, fall apart.
But then I decided to go out there and investigate. And what do I find with the 9 realms completely in chaos? Enemies of Asgard assembling, plotting our demise, all while you, Odin, the protector of those 9 realms, is sitting here in your bathrobe eating grapes.
Odin's absence and later death caused all kinds of problems. It allowed Hela to return, and Thor and Loki, in hopes of stopping her, released Surtur, who destroyed Asgard, leaving the Space Stone Tesseract unprotected. And yes, Odin's absence allowed Thanos to finally obtain a way to harness all the Infinity Stones and use them through a space blacksmith, Peter Dinklage, now completely open to attack. Now, this led to the moment that we saw in the post-credit scene after Age of Ultron, where Thanos puts on the Infinity Gauntlet, which doesn't yet have any Infinity Stones.
I'll do it myself.
I know that's a little confusing since Age of Ultron was set in 2015, whereas Ragnarok was set in 2017. So did Thanos sit around with that gauntlet for like 2 or 3 years before heading to Xandar? Maybe. Really, these Marvel post-credit scenes tend to be separate from the events of the movies that precede them. But here's how I think it all went down. After World War II, Howard Stark recovered the Tesseract, and in 2010, S.H.I.E.L.D. launched Project Pegasus to research its power. 2012, Thanos sends Loki with an army and a Mind Stone and the Scepter to retrieve the Space Stone. Loki fails, Space Stone relocated to Asgard. 2013, Loki fakes his death and unseats Odin. Cosmic chaos begins. Reality Stone moved to the Collector in nowhere. 2014, Thanos sends Ronan to retrieve the Power Stone. Ronan fails thanks to the Guardians of the Galaxy. Power Stone kept in a vault on Xandar. Then, sometime between 2015 and 2018, Thanos exploits Asgard's collapse as the Cosmic Protector to attack Nidavellir, finally getting an Infinity Gauntlet to contain all the stones. 2016, the Time Stone appears on Earth under the control of the Sorcerer Supreme, Doctor Strange. 2017, Odin dies dies, Asgard destroyed, and Loki loots the Space Stone from Odin's vault, he, Thor, and Hulk are left wandering in space. Which brings us to 2018. Wakanda has made its presence known to the world and, unfortunately, to any other enemies who might want to attack it. During this time, at some point off-screen, Thanos attacks Xandar, stealing the Power Stone. Thor reports this to us in the Guardians of the Galaxy in Infinity War. Shortly after that, Thanos uses the Power Stone to attack the Asgardian survivors and take the Space Stone, thereafter retrieving the rest of the stones one by one. The Reality Stone from Nowhere, the Soul Stone from Boromir, the Time Stone from Doctor Strange on Titan, and the Mind Stone from Vision and Wakanda on Earth. Now, the next movie on the MCU calendar is Ant-Man and the Wasp, which will come out in July. Now, we don't know for sure yet, but it seems like that movie will take place before the events of Avengers Infinity War. Based on the footage we've seen, Scott Lang and the rest don't appear that concerned with the crisis of half the world's population disappearing. Now, it's possible that that crisis is affecting the world somewhere in the background and we're just not seeing it in this footage yet, but I think it's more likely that Ant-Man and the Wasp will take place before Thanos' arrival, and it'll end maybe by tying back to the ending of Infinity War, with some of those characters suddenly fading away and freaking each other out. Same goes for the upcoming Captain Marvel, which will come out in March 2019, but that will be set earlier in the 1990s, and I predict it might end by tying into the events of Infinity War in 2018. Also, for those of you watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we've been learning in these final episodes of Season 5 that these events are actually tied to the Infinity War timeline. The most recent episode referenced Thanos directly.
Thanos and his forces have begun an assault on your world even as we speak.
Well, then I've got to get down there with the Avengers and take on this Thanos.
Now, the upcoming season finale may be Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s final episode ever, meaning this series could end at the same time Thanos snaps his fingers. I assume the snap will also impact the world of the Marvel Netflix heroes, who have only really lightly referenced the Battle of New York in past seasons. I actually think the upcoming season of Luke Cage will also take place before the Infinity War events. Whew, that's a lot of events and dates, so I'll turn it over to you guys. Looking at this whole series of events as a whole, who do you think is more to blame for Thanos' rise to power? Loki or Thor? Loki's meddling certainly caused chaos that Thanos was able to exploit. But remember, Thor also left the Reality Stone in a pretty lousy hiding spot out nowhere. And dude, go for the head. Comment down below with your thoughts. This video is sponsored by Dollar Shave Club. I'm finally gonna be shaving this mug next week, guys, so you'll get to see the baby face in the flesh. Unfortunately, Thanos cannot snap this away, so I'll need to do it myself. And yeah, there's just too many options at the pharmacy, and it's just easy to get stuck with a razor and accessories you don't really want or need. So if you're like me and you're sick of the nonsense at the store, now is the time to try out Dollar Shave Club. For a limited time, Dollar Shave Club is basically giving away their shower and shave starter set to new members for only $5. This starter set features their executive razor and 3 trial size versions of their most popular products that help you stay fresh and clean. In your first box, you'll receive their shave butter and body wash and One Wipe Charlie's butt wipes. Guys, you need more than just razors. Your girlfriend who goes to another school, thank you. And yeah, you'll also receive their executive razor, which includes their premium weighty handle and a full cassette of cartridges. After the first box, replacement cartridges are sent for only a few bucks a month. This offer is exclusively available at dollarshaveclub.com/newrockstars. That's dollarshaveclub.com/newrockstars. Or click on the link in the description below. Guys, supporting Dollar Shave Club enables them to support this channel, so you're really doing yourselves and us a favor by checking this out. And you can tweet me directly at EA Voss or follow New Rockstars on Twitter for updates on our videos. Like and share this video and subscribe to New Rockstars for all of our deep dives and analyses and explainers of Avengers Infinity War. Thanks for watching. Bye.